Hi, my name is Josh Yen. I'm an undergraduate student at the University of Oxford, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips which help me read over 300 plus pages a day for my course. These are 5 tips which really helped me, and I hope they would really help you as well. The first tip, which I think is the most important one, is to really understand why you are reading. Although you could think of reading as a grasp or development of your knowledge about certain topics or for leisure, all reading has a certain goal. There is a certain thing that you're trying to get out of that entertainment or that book or article that you are working through. You might be having to write an essay. You might want to understand more about a certain field. You might have certain questions that the book answers. What you want to do is to identify that goal very quickly, because a lot of times the goal that you have from reading is part of, but not the whole purpose of the book or the article that you have in front of you. So if you have a clear mindset of saying, okay, I am reading this book, Plato's Republic, perhaps I have Plato's Republic right here. I'm reading Plato's Republic to fully focus on the city-soul analogy in Plato, or perhaps what is Plato's tripartite division. Well, I don't need to read the whole of Plato's Republic. I'm only trying to figure out a certain aspect of Plato's Republic and a certain part of his philosophy. Therefore, I might go to the context pages or go online and search, well, what are the sections which talk about the tripartite division of the soul, the city-soul analogy, and I'll just read those sections which have to do with them. Alternatively, I could skim through most of the book, notice there's a part which talks about it, read that, and then continue skimming to the next point which talks about it. By doing that, yes, you might read the whole book, but you would spend all your time focusing on the parts that really match up to your goal instead of spending all the time annotating, understanding, turning to elements which you might not actually really need for your pursuits. Now, of course, you might say, well, okay, I'm just reading for leisure. I'm not reading for an academic purpose. So maybe I should read through the whole thing. And that's completely fine as well. You can do it, but then maybe keep in the back of the mind, yes, I'm doing this for leisure. So maybe the way in which I'm interacting with the material is a bit different. Instead of just saying, okay, I need to figure out every single part which talks about a certain topic, just enjoy it a bit more, step back and just flow. Don't try to nitpick on certain details, which would be the case for academic reading. And that's why it's so important to start off with having a goal of your reading so that your reading is structured as such in alignment with that goal. The second tip, which is very helpful, is to learn the art of skimming. Now, a lot of times when you're reading, especially in academia, there's a huge temptation to decide that you must read through the details in a very precise manner. And that's all good. It's very good to understand the book very well. But when you have a goal established already, what you want to do is to start skimming what is not important, because you're going to notice that a lot of the academic books you're reading, perhaps less so fiction, that a lot of the elements, the person is making loads of different arguments. You could find it in their abstract, they're making a few arguments, and then their academic article or their book will be structured in the same way. Learn to figure out which parts are important from the very beginning, and then you'll be able to skim through those which are irrelevant from your goals, and then you'll be able to spend more time on what you actually need to do. And I know the art of skimming is a difficult thing, so if you want to learn how to skim read, then let me know in the comments below. I'll make another such video for you. But one thing which is very helpful is to understand how your eyes move. Sometimes, a way that I sometimes skim is to skim kind of in sections. So I kind of skim downwards like that through the book. And then by skimming like this, I kind of understand what's going on in the page. Now, some people can't skim like that. Some people will kind of just skim straight down the line. And then some people would just slowly just skim through all of the words and stuff like that. It really depends. I think each person has their own way to skim read. But at least for me, I just kind of skim in a kind of a triangular shape down the thing. So I'm like, okay, it's a talk about something about the introduction. Okay, there's a bit about Glaucon. There's a bit about Plato. And then a bit about the Peloponnesian War. And then I'm just skimming through until, oh, okay, there's a tripartite division of the soul. That's what I need to do. So by skimming very well, you're able to cover a lot of pages in a very short amount of time. Now, the third important thing is to take notes. And notes are a very important thing. And you might say, well, why take notes? Wouldn't that just make me read longer? Wouldn't taking notes take time? Yes, but at the same time, it's very important to understand that when you're reading quickly so that you can read in a quicker fashion. You're not reading quickly, so you read quickly. And the reason why I make the two things distinct here is that if you're just reading so that you can get through the work quickly, you're not going to learn anything, and you've defeated your own purpose of reading in the first place. reading is an important thing. The speed comes with the reading. And as a result, by taking notes, you're able to skim through, but also after you finish, go back and check what those notes are, go back and understand what those notes are and understand what those meanings were to those words. And then you have a better understanding of the topic itself, the topic at large. So I'll highly recommend you to take notes, have a notepad while you're reading, or as in the way I work, I'll show you my studio right now. I work with a computer and also a MacBook. When I'm reading, I'll often either be reading on the MacBook or I would be reading on a book, and I'll have my MacBook in front of me, or I'll have my computer in front of me. So when I see something I like, a quote I like, or an element or a summary that I want to write, I'll just type that into the computer and then continue reading. So after I read, I could go back and say, okay, this book that I read, Plato's Republic, I'm just using Plato's Republic, for example, or Locke's an essay, which I'm working on as well. I'll just say, okay, I have my notes in my computer, read through those. I know how to read well. That is something that I do very often and I find very helpful. Now, the fourth important thing is to clear distractions. Reading, especially in this modern world where we're often very distracted by things like Instagram Reels or YouTube, it's very tempting to always have in the back of your mind, you see a notification on your phone, pick up the phone, read, and then you're like, I've spent another half an hour on my Reels. So what I do when I start reading, especially when it's quite comparatively, if you think about your mind, the dopamine hit, reading gives you a way lower dopamine hit than your Instagram Reels. So as a result, comparatively speaking, your mind is predisposed to pick up the phone instead of continue reading. So what you want to do is put the phone away. If I'm in a library, I'll put it in my backpack. If I'm at home, I'll put it in my bedroom. So I'm in the living room. So I'm reading in the living room. My phone's on the opposite side of the table, or my phone's on silent mode. I cannot access it. Clear the distractions out of your mind. Make sure there is no way in which you're going to let your mind wander. Make sure you're constantly reading. You're focusing on reading, and that will help you really be more efficient. Now, the final thing is to read in time slots. And what I mean by saying reading in time slots is that reading in time slots is a very helpful way to counter the boring nature of reading at times. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, okay, today I have to read one original text, one core text like Plato's Republic. Then I have to read 6 different articles and analyzing a certain aspect of that core text. Right now I'm writing on Socrates' distinction between knowledge and belief. And I'm like, guys, I just don't want to do this. You get bored quickly. Well, reading in time slots really help because you could say, well, all right, and my whole day is listed off in time slots from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. I'm going to be doing reading. From 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'm going to be working on my business, whatever it is, right? You want to just be able to go through that quickly and understand that knowledge well. So you could say, well, there is something to look forward to in an hour's time. So you're like, okay, I'll just get the reading done. Then I could go enjoy myself. Then I could watch my Instagram reels, or I could go then and cook lunch. Or yes, I could go and work on my YouTube channel, whatever it is, right? Have those time slots so you're always looking forward to something else to get you through your present moment. I hope you found these 5 tips helpful and you can implement them. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more easily implementable study tips that you can do in your daily life.